There is one rule in business that if you break that rule, you lose the business before you start. And that rule is you can never beat someone in their own game. Follow me carefully. One rule in business that if you ever break that rule, you lose the business before you start is this: you can never beat someone in their own game. You know, I read Things Fall Apart frequently. There are 3 things that Things Fall Apart tells me. 1 is who I am. 2 is who I am not. And 3 is who my enemies are. When you ask an average African man, what is the offense of your ancestors that make you tag them evil? He will tell you that they are cute twins. Then I begin to laugh because the ignorance of people has made them to actually orchestrate hatred for the righteous men. Why indirectly now loving the real demons in existence? You know, our ancestors worship the ground. That is why they are called Omenana. And the worst evil against the ground is to spill blood upon the ground. The highest thing that you can do against the ground as a man who worship the ground is to spill blood on the ground. That's why growing up as a little baby in your community, you will discover that one person died in your street. And because one person died in your street, everybody is not going to work that day. The whole street is cold. Why? A single person died in a village. Then we go and knock Ikolo and tell everybody to cancel all his movement that day because the blood of one person spilled. And even when you begin to explore Things Fall Apart, you see where the other 2 communities are fighting. They killed 5 to 8 people. And everybody is shouting, you have finished cleaning our blood. So before you know it, the communities are now sending emissaries for peace. Because 5 people died in war. And they'll be telling the story of that 5 dead people for 8 centuries. That's to tell you how unfamiliar they are with wasting blood. Have you not asked yourself, before the white men came in Africa, we have the Igbo, we have the Yoruba, we have the Hausa people. Why have the Igbo and the Yoruba not fighting about land boundaries? We are never violent people. We are new to violence. Can I take you back to history? At the time when somebody is telling you that your ancestors is sacrificing virgins, is killing twins, there was a place in Mexico called the Mayan Temple. The Mayan Temple is a temple known in Mexico for killing virgins. Like, you kill virgins there as a ticket to go to heaven when you die. And that place is still in Mexico today. But when you come to Mexico, you will see the sculptures of their ancestors who murdered virgins in numbers as a ticket to go to heaven, molded by the Mexicans, and they are worshiping him. Like, if you are a virgin, they were crowned according to the number of virgins you murder. This is the culture of the Mayan Temple in Mexico, when they are telling you that your ancestors killed twins. Follow me carefully. When you hear Vikings, today among our youth, you be hearing somebody says, I'm a Viking. SSO, bloody. SSO, bloody. Odi this, Odi that. What's the origin of Viking? Viking was actually a cult that originated in Sweden, Norway, and part of the Europe nation. Their assignment is to come in a community, in a village already occupied by people, and perform what is called a kilegy. What is a kilegy? A kilegy is to wipe off everybody inside that nation, rape all the women in that nation, and take away that community. That was how Britain take possession of American land today. You come into a nation, wipe everybody in that nation, rape their girls, and then you will now go to where it's called the Valhalla. The Valhalla is a place where you go if you actually succeed in wiping off a community and rape a good number of virgins. This is the ancestors of people in Sweden, Norway, called the Vikings. And when you go to Norway today, you see them mold their ancestors, people that knows and derive joy in killing and sucking blood. And at the same time this thing is happening, the British is fighting against the Americans, killing the Americans. In a what they call the kilegy again. Follow me carefully. The Romans called the British the barbarians because when you come in the hierarchy of killing people and war, Rome is at the apex. Rome is the Roman emperor. If they invade your community, forget about it. You are from Oboka, it's not a story. When they come in, the Romans take the British barbarians, and they were wiping the barbarians in number. That means our joy is in the blood we waste. There is a fight that was fought in Europe called the duel. Duel is a situation by which 2 people have an argument, and that argument cannot be peacefully resolved. They will now bring them into a one room. Let the 2 of them fight until one person die. To tell you how recent a duel is, Abraham Lincoln, the former president of America, was involved in a duel. These are people that knows and derive pleasure in killing blood. Africans are new to violence. We are never violent people. Can I talk to you? If you are smoking weed, if you're a frequent smoker of weed, and you want to mesmerize somebody that doesn't take weed up, just give him a weed to smoke. Because you know that when he smokes that weed, he will be intoxicated with violence. So because we are never violent people, violence has been introduced in our midst. And now the problem is that The white man that began the duty of killing people has modernized his own system of killing. But we are still doing it the local way that they are doing it at ages. When you watch the track record, you discover in 17th century, 18th century, the Americans and Europeans are bloodsuckers of humanity. But Africans are afraid of blood because we worship the ground. So when a man tells you that his ancestors is evil, just look at him as a man who has limitation of knowledge. The reason why they are not fighting or killing Africa today is because Africa was conquered mentally, not militarily. Africans lost their origin. When you ask a man what's your name, he says my name is Luke, Matthew, Musa, Lawa. This name never existed in Africa. It is actually a symbol that we lost our origin and become prey under a predator. And not just that, we have accepted the word of a predator, which is the Bible and the Quran, as the word of God. And when the prey accepts the word of the predator as the word of God, the predator have no need again fighting them. That's why they are not invading us. But for Iraq is a nation that was conquered militarily, not an ideology. They still have the completion of the ideology of who their ancestors are and who they are. And so anytime they are rejecting the offer from the predator is invading them with bomb. But my assignment is to come again and reawaken Africa again. When you got the ideology back, then you now discover what they mean, that God came to chase Adam away from the Garden of Eden. Immediately Adam got knowledge. So why God cannot fight Adam is because Adam is a fool. The African man is still rejecting knowledge. I came like a Satan come to Eve. That Satan is the light of Africa. I came to tell you to get completion of knowledge. When you tap into the frequency of that knowledge, automatically, you will now discover when God will come down to chase Adam away, because God is government of the day of the Europeans. And when you hear this, Jesus Christ is the Son of God, it means Jesus Christ is the son of the government of the day, which came to implement evil in a land. When you read the book of 2 Samuel chapter 15 verse 3, you begin to hear God give assignments to a man called Saul. He says, "Dear Saul, go to the Amalek." He says, "Kill all the men. Follow me carefully. Kill all the men. Kill all the women. Kill all the children. Kill all the oxen. Kill all the sheep." Can you understand what is a children? That a pregnant woman delivered the baby this afternoon. God is telling Saul to go into that community and kill that little baby. First Samuel chapter 15 verse 3. 1 Samuel 15 verse 3. God was giving Saul a beautiful assignment. The government of the day of the European. How to come into a nation and wipe them. But the highest thing our ancestors respect in our culture is land boundaries. Every man know their own boundary. When the community begin to disagree more, they will say, "Give us one person to swear in your community that this land belongs to you." If that person swear and survive it for 1 year, we forget it. That's how much we revere ground. The greatest evil among the people that worship the ground is to spill blood on the ground. They now taught us how to kill our people. The first time, or when you hear war, Biafran war, all the war that was fought in Igbo land before the white men came, we did not kill up to 10,000 people. Highest, they kill 5 in a community, and everybody is begging immediately for the war to stop. Today, the first time Nigerians shed blood in millions was Biafran war. The white man now brought gun, brought bomb, and taught us how to kill ourselves. And because we are new to violence, we went into it with all our hearts. And over 3 million Igbos we are wiped in that. When you read things fall apart, it tells you who you are and who you are not. We are not a blood killer. When you kill one person, you discover how you lose your guard. When you waste the blood, automatically life left you. You feel pain. You are not a predator. But in that culture, blood wasting is what makes them a man. You now say the way the predator lives is direct opposite of the prey. And you can't play the game of the predator as a prey. So what you must do is to build your family that your ancestors built. Because in these family settings, war don't exist. We come into communism in our culture. Let every man be prospering. The white man came and taught us how to kill people. Today you see African youth shouting SSO, bloody. Oh, did this for one of these says, see no see, tell no tell. If you see today, we cut off you tomorrow if you don't. And the way you're doing that, you don't even know the origin of Vikings. These are the people that are they enter nation and wipe off nation. And because you are new to it, it's intoxicating you into madness. I bring Africans into returning of culture. When culture returns, all these things we wipe away. When culture comes back, no, Jesus Christ is an epitome or similitude of killing people. Go and read the Bible. Joshua chapter 6 verse 17 to 19, he begins to write, he says, everything in Jericho must be destroyed. All the man, women, and children in Jericho must be killed. In verse 19, he says, when you finish killing them, bring all gold and bronze into the temple of God. Joshua 6 verse 19. Bring the bronze into the temple of God. We are obsessed about the bronze and the gold. That is to tell you who the God is. The God of the Europeans is always looking for gold and bronze. Rise up against such God. The God of a species is individualized to them. God is not generalized. I bring you light and illumination. It's time to walk away from the white man foreign religion. It introduces division in the people, divide the people, and make them defenseless. Light of Africa is